Hello, my name is Patit-ake Jumreangkwan, and this is for my IoT project. I've made a smart cage which is for monitoring your bird, and also it's linked to the IoT Blynk.
So the components we actually use for this is an ESP32 board, wiring for all the components, the OLED screen for displaying the values, the DHT11 which is used to detect the temperature and the humidity of the bird cage, the line tracker or IR sensor used instead of line tracking, we use it to detect the amount of food left in the feeder, the LDR, the light dependent resistor with the 10K resistor to prevent burnout. This is used to detect the amount of light in the room, and it's good for both monitoring the day-night cycles and the light amount in that room. Originally, there's supposed to be a water sensor included to help with water feeding to the bird, but due to how birds would like to bathe in water, like how they would rather swim in water rather than just drink it from a feeder, and also the water sensor is regarded as to be not safe for the birds as it can contaminate the water due to how the sensor records its values. So therefore, I decided to remove it from my final project. And another thing I changed is the layout, where originally the auto feeder and the auto feeder infrared sensor would be separately, and the OLED would be on a different screen. I decided to mix them together for compactness, and also to help prevent the wires from being too confusing and preventing the bird from attacking the wires and possibly electrocuting itself.
So the way it works is relatively simple. This feeder is connected to the ESP32 and the components. The DHT is responsible here for monitoring the temperature and humidity of the bird cage. The OLED screen here is to help us monitor it easier without the need of using Blynk, and it tells us about the light level, which is based on its LDR resistant. Due to birds in nature requiring an amount of light daily so that it won't be depressed, and it will be better with sunlight, and it helps give them the vitamins they needed. It also comes with a food monitoring system, whereas instead of monitoring how much food they have left, it would use a line track to tell the amount of food in the auto feeder. The feeder design is very simple, as we put in food from the top and it falls down to the bottom, and the bird would come out and eat it through here, and any remaining food will fall down into the food catcher, which can be removed and replaced. The way you fill in more food inside the feeder is through the plate on the top. You can put inside in here. The 3 bars on the OLED represent the amount of food on inside the feeder using the sensors. If all 3 lights no longer detect the food inside, it will send a warning to the OLED screen that the food ran out, shown by this picture here. On the device screen in Blynk, it showcases the temperature using a radial gauge, and the maximum temperature is 50, as anything above 50 Celsius is enough to kill the bird. Humidity is kept at less than 100, which humidity doesn't really affecting because the bird cage size is designed for Pacific parrotlets, which are a species of birds that live really well in humid environments. The light reading sensor allows you to read over time the amount of light, and it tells you the value in the terminal about sufficient light, or is there enough amount of food left. For when we turn off if there's no light, it will record it as sleeping, which means this is either the area is too dark or the bird is currently nighttime. From what you're observing, you can also see it appear on the Blynk on the IoT. But yes, everything is connected and built only on the feeder, so if you were to remove this and put this in another cage, it will still work, but you have to unscrew the component inside and remove the light dependent resistor too. You don't have to put this on the cage, you can put it anywhere in the room, but for a simple showcase, I decided to put it at the top of the cage in this corner so the bird can't also attack or bite the wires. Yes. The code is relatively simple, which here is the code. This is the code for the OLED, the DHT, and the Blynk timer, with both serial monitor on computer and on the terminal in the Blynk, sharing the same display. This here is to tell us about the food, where let's say if all the 3 lights detect all the food in the feeder, it will say there is enough food. Where if it's halfway empty, it will say half of food ran out. If there's only 1 light detected or only very little is detected, it will say food is running dry and should be refilled soon. And if the food is completely empty, it will say this about how we should refill food. And on the OLED, instead of the 3 bars, it will display the word. It will display the word refill now. This is for the code for the OLED screen, the larger text size, simplified light status. And here, this is the code to replace the 3 bars with the refill now. This is the blink and the pin mode codes. Serial monitor. This is important from the previous practice exam for the blink connection codes.